Okay, you all, so I'm just gonna hop straight back into the series. Hopefully y'all have been having a lovely, prosperous week so far, and you have been enjoying this series so far. Like I said, I was gonna try to cover all the spiritual topics this week. We have headed into another week, but I figured I'd just continue on with the series. So I said that I was gonna come and talk about spiritual attacks through dreams, okay? I really don't know how long this video is gonna be, but I do feel like dreams mean a lot. And I spoke in previous videos, I think maybe this was like a year ago, where I talked about dreams. The reason why I don't come on my channel and talk about dreams as much is because the dreams I be having sometimes, it may scare y'all a little bit. I have had a few unsettling dreams, and I'm gonna kind of talk about the meanings and the difference between a spiritual attack and a warning, because a lot of times when you have a dream, it's a spiritual warning to let you know what is going on. Okay, so we're gonna use some examples. On one particular dream I had, and this was a couple of years back, y'all, and it really disturbed my spirit. It kind of upset me a little bit. But if you have a dream about people talking behind your back, they're gathered in a room talking about you. Now, I had an unsettling dream about my family a couple of years back. I felt like it was a spiritual warning letting me know that they had been talking about me. The dream was dark. It was like we was in this factory building. We was together, but we was apart at the same time. They was all sitting at a table. It was like a table of, it was a long table, and they was just all kind of sitting around talking about me. I didn't like the dream. You know, obviously I got up and I prayed about it. I thought on it for a minute. I was upset because this was around the time so where I was distancing myself from certain family members, and I kept getting unsettling dreams about them. Okay. And so let's say, for instance, you are having a dream about a family member. You may have a dream about a friend. This is another dream that I had. I had a dream about someone that I thought was a friend, where she was talking about me. You know, it was like this brunch that she had went to with some other women, and she had been talking about me. And it was like I was in the room, but I wasn't there. I could hear the entire conversation they was having at the brunch with each other. And this was so weird because I had this dream right before I was supposed to go to her birthday celebration. And I also had another dream about a friend of mine. And it was so spot on the way I had this dream, because what was taking place with her in this dream, it had me kind of worried about her. Now, this particular friend that I had the dream about, she wasn't talking about me, but I could see that it was something that was troubling her mentally in this dream. And this one particular person was battling with something mental during this time. And it was so weird that I had this dream about her in that way. Every single dream that I had about this one particular friend, it was like she was battling with something mentally, and it was real unsettled with my spirit. And of course I woke up and prayed for her. But when you have certain dreams like this, now I would say that that would be a warning. It's a difference between a spiritual attack and a spiritual warning. The Lord may be giving you certain warnings about people in your dreams so that you can pray for them. You know what I'm saying? So this can be a child that you are having dream about, a friend, a long lost friend, because this may be a friend that you might have not seen in years or spoken to, but you have an unsettling dream about them. It's not necessarily nothing bad, so where they gossiping about you like the other friend I just told y'all about, but this one particular friend, you're getting this warning because the Lord wants you to pray for them. The Lord is kind of letting you know what's going on with them, and he's sending you these warnings through a dream. This may be a friend that you haven't seen or heard from in a while, and so this may be the time for you to call and check up on this friend, or go visit this friend, or see how they doing, because when you get certain warnings like that, it's a reason behind it. And this is another thing too I wanted to add. If you have ever had a certain instance to where you had a dream about something and then it ended up happening like a day or so later, or a few weeks, months, sometimes years later, a lot of times it is a spiritual warning from the Lord, because the Lord knows our future. He knows our path. And so he may be forewarning you about certain things. So if, like I said, with the fake friend, I had a dream about her, and then when I actually went to the event, I was getting weird vibes from her. Everything that was happening in that dream, it was confirmed when I actually went to go celebrate with her, I knew our friendship was coming to an end because of how everything transpired. It kind of spooked me just a little bit because before I went to this event, I felt uneasy about it. I didn't feel comfortable going. And on my way there, I had so many different spiritual warnings. Like when I was in the car on my way driving to the event, I remember just feeling like I was just going all these different directions, driving this way, driving that way. Like I literally drove like almost an hour and out to her birthday celebration. Actually, I drove all the way from Wisconsin to Chicago, and then I booked me a hotel, and then I drove from the hotel all the way to her birthday celebration. And I was driving for about an hour or so, but I had so many warnings from the Lord on my way there. It was just like I felt as though I was going all out for this friend, and she was already kind of showing me who she was. And so when I got to the birthday event, everything that I had dreamed about, it had been confirmed. She was acting weird. She was acting just everything. And so I'm like, wow. So a lot of times when you get a dream, it is the Lord forewarning you about what is going to take place in the future. But yeah, this one particular dream that I had about my family was the most spot on because they had always been talking about me before. So when I had this dream about them talking about me, like in groups, they was all grouped up together in this dream talking about me. And that was a warning to me to let me know that this was, matter of fact, this was shortly after I had started my YouTube channel that I had this dream. And it was a warning to me. I definitely had sat and thought hard on that dream, because I had never had a dream about them like that. I had already knew that they was gossiping about me, but to have a dream about it, which confirmed it, you know? So a lot of times when you get warning that certain people are gossiping behind your back, the Lord is going to probably come and send you a dream to let you know that what you are thinking is true. Because a lot of times when people are gossiping behind our back, we get that inkling that something is not right, you know? We may not be for certain that they are talking about us, but we just don't get a good feeling whenever we are around them. These be the type of people that you will know that they discussed you before you walked in the room, okay? But then when you walk in the room, everybody get quiet as a mouse. Then you turn around a couple of weeks later and you have a dream that they gossiping about you. That's a warning from the Lord to let you know that you are possibly within bad company. You are being discussed in a negative way. Okay, so yeah, that's something that you need to take heed to as well. Romantic relationships as well. You might have a unsettling dream that your partner may be talking bad about you behind your back, stuff like that. Those are certain things that you need to, you know, kind of take heed to and pray about. I always say pray about your dreams. Whenever it's unsettled with your spirit, it's something that you can talk to and pray to the Lord. Ask the Lord, like, I need more clarification. Like, what is this? Why am I having this dream? What does this mean? And if you sit there long enough, the Lord is going to come and clear everything up for you. Okay, He's going to let you know what's going on. He's going to let you know what to do about the situation. And this is another way you are going to be able to understand the Lord's communication, because a lot of times the only way the Lord feels like He can reach you or get your attention is through a dream. So a lot of times y'all might have had dreams that you really didn't understand, that you really didn't make much of, but really you were oblivious to the fact that that was the Lord trying to communicate to you. Because a lot of times, and this, I'm not saying this to spook y'all, nothing like that, because when it comes to the Lord, when you have a dream that comes from Him, it may feel a little unsettled with you because you are trying to process what He has revealed to you. But you are going to know that it came from Him. Okay, you are going to have a lot of clarifications. You are going to have things that you've had doubts about in your waking life. The Lord came and confirmed it to you through a dream, and you didn't know that that was Him that was confirming it to you. You thought you just had this dream because you just had a dream, when really it was a spiritual warning from the Lord. Like, say for instance, we are talking about fake friends. So the reason why you may have a dream about these friends talking about you is because the Lord is warning you that it's time for you to end a friendship. Okay? The Lord is revealing to you your friend's spirit through this dream. 9 times out of 10, before you had this dream, it was the things that was taking place that had you question your friendship. Okay? Fake behavior. You not understanding why they acting this way with you. Then you go to sleep and you have a dream of them talking about you. The Lord is letting you know that it's time for you to end this friendship. He's basically letting you know that whatever it is that you're thinking, you're right about it. Okay, because a lot of us, we be in denial about certain things. We don't want to accept the fact that a friend is being fake with us, especially if it's somebody that you spent a great deal of your time with. You had vulnerable moments with this person. This person's a part of your life, and so for you to get these certain feelings about them, and then to have it confirmed through a dream, that can be a lot to process. You know what I'm saying? This could just be with any situation. It don't necessarily have to be with a friend. But the Lord used dreams a lot of times to communicate with us, because when we are in our waking life, some things we may be just kind of brushing off and ignoring it. I'm just gonna come and keep it real, because we don't want to believe what we are thinking is true. But if you keep on getting spiritual warnings from the Lord through your dreams about your friends and family and your romantic relationships, He's letting you know. You need to take heed to that. Your dreams mean a lot. And so, for the ones that's coming in listening in on this channel, let me just say this first and foremost. Okay, I know we're talking about spirituality, and for the ones that's listening in, they kind of getting their feet wet with spiritual journey, with their walk with Christ, and a lot of things are not really making sense. It may sound like I'm crazy. It may sound like I'm a little bit off my rocker, but the more you go with Christ and the more that you develop on your spiritual journey, your eyes are going to be open to a lot of things, and so it's going to be more understandable for you the more you walk with Christ. Okay, and so if things don't make sense, it sounds like, oh, this girl losing her man, it's something wrong with her. Let me just say, I'm perfectly sane. Okay, when it comes to discussing the topic of spirituality, a lot of things are not going to make sense, but the Lord is going to step in and make it make sense. Okay, that's the only way I could put it. For the things that don't make sense to you, the Lord is going to make it make sense. That's why when I come and I make these videos, I try to go deep in depth. And sometimes my videos are kind of long, because I really want y'all to get the full understanding. Because there are a lot of people out here that battle with a mental illness. There's tons of people out here that are losing their minds, being on a certain spiritual journey. Let me throw this in here before I even get into these dreams. The reason why I feel like a lot of people are losing their minds being on a spiritual journey is because they are not rooted and connected with the Lord. Okay, it just kind of put me in the man of that young woman. I know y'all probably remember this story about the woman that thought the world was ending when we had the eclipse, and she unalived her children, her partner, and herself as well. Now, that is what happens when you follow the wrong spiritual path. That's why before I start a lot of my videos, I come and tell y'all that I'm a follower of God. And I feel like that's a strong reasoning behind why people are losing their minds. Okay, because they are confusing themselves. They have too many. When you are on a spiritual journey, you're not supposed to be confused about everything. That's why I try to make these videos in a way to where y'all can understand. You know what I'm saying? Because spirituality is not complicated as people try to make it is, you know? Spirituality is about your beliefs. Okay, my belief is in the Lord. This is the thing about why I say it's important to keep your mental health in check too, being on a spiritual journey, because the Lord is never going to have you out here lost. Okay, He's not going to have you out here losing your man, talking all off the wall. He's not going to have you in a state of confusion. Okay, a lot of people with mental illnesses, they operate a certain kind of way to let you know that there's something going on that's far beyond anything that we'll ever be able to fully understand. But the thing about it is, when you are walking with the Lord, you are never going to be confused or led astray. You have a strong relationship with the Lord and you communicate with Him and He communicates with you. It is clear and direct. There's nothing that should be confusing to you being on the spiritual journey and being on this walk with Christ. Okay, and so with that being said, we're just going to get straight into the video. We're going to talk about that dream that you had. Okay, that dream that had you sitting up at the edge of the bed like, okay, what was that about? That dream that had you jumping up. You had a dream of being attacked, and the dream got so intense to the point where you had to wake up because you felt like you were actually being attacked. And some people, when they hear things like this and they really think about the situation, sometimes you may feel a little embarrassed and ashamed, because you're like, man, I can't say this to nobody because nobody is going to believe me and everybody is going to think that I'm losing my man. Now, I've had dreams like this before too, where I actually felt the attacks through my dream. So that's the type of the difference, because you may have a dream of someone attempting to attack you, like they was just about to attack you and you woke up just in time. And then there's a difference between you actually being attacked to where you feel the physical impact of what they're doing through this dream. Let me just say this. When you go on the walk with Christ, and this is just what I believe, a lot of times when you are having spiritual attacks through your dreams, it can just be a situation to where something may be going on in your waking life to where things may be stressful. Okay, that can be a number one reason. Or it could just be, like I said in the video about multiple witchcraft attacks, people are going to their altars and they are putting certain things out here in the airwaves, and they're hoping that you don't rest well. Okay, and I know that's kind of hard to believe for some people. We don't want to believe that to be true, because it sounds like, well, I'm losing my man if I really think that somebody is out here attacking me like that. That's what it comes to when it comes to talking about the spiritual world and the evil forces of the world, witchcraft specifically. Things are not going to make sense. It's going to look as though you are losing your mind. That's the whole intent behind a witchcraft spell, is that it's caused to make you lose your mind. But when you have a firm belief in the Lord, you are not going to be confused. Okay, the Lord is going to come and clear things up for you so that you can have a better understanding. Okay, that's why it's important for you to stay reading your Bible. This is why the Lord speaks against certain things like this in the Bible, because it's a consequence behind following certain practices. But when you are closely rooted with the Lord, He is going to protect you. It's just all about your faith. I knew that I was going to make this a long message because I want to constantly come and promote mental health awareness on my channel, being that these topics are deep. And for the people that are receiving this message, I want it to be received in the right way. So the difference between spiritual awareness and a mental illness is different. So say for instance, somebody, they had a dream about a clerk at the grocery store attacking them. Okay, so they're in a state of fear. And this is the thing, the devil has different forms of communication as well. So please understand the difference between the spiritual one from the Lord and the one from Satan, because it's very much so different. Your man is going to feel at ease. You may feel a little unsettled with what you may discover about these people through this dream, but your man is going to be at ease. He's going to give you mental clarity. That's how the Lord operates. He doesn't leave you confused. And so a person with a mental illness may have a certain dream and it may make them confused, which causes them to be fearful. Remember, the Lord does not give us a spirit of fear. Okay, so you are not going to be walking around looking over your shoulder feeling like everybody is an enemy because you had a bad dream, or you spiritually attacked through your dream, and so now you feel like everybody is out to get you. You are treading down the road of mental insanity at that point. Because if you had a dream about the men at the grocery store attacking you, a person with a mental illness may go to this grocery store after they had a dream and they may start acting weird. Okay, they may tell this grocery store clerk that they had a dream about them, they was being attacked by this person. This grocery store clerk looking at you like you crazy, like you done lost your man. The grocery store clerk don't know you from a can of paint. You sitting up saying all type of crazy stuff. I'm telling you, I have seen this type of stuff before. Yeah, I had a dream about you. I gotta look out for you. You know, you seen me came in here last time. You always be at the same register every time I come in here. I be feeling you monitoring me through the video surveillance cameras in the store. You think I don't know about that? I had a dream about that too, that you was watching me. Stuff like that. That's mental insanity. They going around the entire grocery store telling people to watch out for this clerk. They be attacking people. Yeah, I had a dream that they tried to attack me in my sleep. I had a dream about them. Yeah, that's mental insanity. For you to think that people are watching you everywhere you go, you can't even live a normal regular life because you feel like everybody is out to get you. That's not healthy. You need the Lord at that point. Because whatever sort of communication and warnings you getting, it's not coming from the Lord. Okay, trust and believe that. You was operating in a spirit of confusion and fear. 9 times out of 10, you didn't pray to the Lord and ask him to clear things up for you and clarify things for you before you went out here operating on your own free will. And that's the thing about spiritual awareness and the spiritual community that is upsetting to me and disturbing a lot of times too, because you got a lot of people coming out here putting out misinformation about spirituality. Okay, they are causing people to lose their minds. They come in and speaking on certain topics and they really don't know what they're talking about. They're not being led by the Lord. A lot of times these people have different spiritual beliefs. These would be the type of people that go back crystals. They tap into another realm. Okay, these are people that come talk about chakras. I'm not saying it's to offend nobody, but all this type of stuff, the Lord speaks against these types of things. And so when you see a person that call themselves being spiritually aware, and it seems as though they have a belief in things and they don't have a belief in the Lord, these are the people that 9 times out of 10, they may at some point in their life develop a mental illness just off of their spiritual beliefs alone. Okay, when you are operating on your own free will and you're not letting the Lord lead you through when it comes to spiritual matters in your life, you are walking down a dangerous road. And that's why we had this young woman a few months back take her life and the life of her children. Okay, because she was following the wrong spiritual belief. She was into astrology. I said before that those are the workings of Satan. And so when you got people out here, they talk about dream interpretations and things like that, you may see it to where tarot readers may come and do dream interpretations and things like that. If you are the type of person that's caught up on that type of thing, I'm just letting you know right now, you are going down the wrong path. Okay, you have to be led by the Lord through and through. He needs to be constantly ordering your steps when you call yourself trying to be on a spiritual journey. Because it's a lot of people out here that are leading people down a road of destruction. These people don't know what they're talking about. You got people out here that they really have a mental illness and they hear this type of information and it make them lose their man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want y'all losing y'all man on my channel. I want to be very clear and direct and precise and in depth as possible so that y'all can't blame me. I'm not gonna have that blood on my hands. And that's why when I come and talk about spirituality, it's just not a one and done type of video. Sometimes I may have to talk for an hour or so just so I don't be held responsible. Okay, because when you come and you are an influencer and you come in to put out spiritual content and faith-based kind of content, you have to be depth about this, because it's so many people out here that battle with a mental illness and you don't want to put out the message the wrong way. You want the Lord to be leading you and guiding you through even certain videos that you put out, because somebody may take certain information, things that you put out, and they may misinterpret it. Okay, they may actually think that it's a lot of people out here just watching them. Just like the, say for instance, a video where I talked about witchcraft. Okay, a person that is not really as spiritually aware, they may hear that video and think that I'm crazy. But a person that does have a mental illness, they may feel like everybody is an enemy to them. Everybody is trying to attack them. Okay, these will be the type of people that will literally snap out and hurt people because their mind is all over the place. The Lord gives you a man of sanity. Remember, you are not going to be confused about anything. You shouldn't feel confused. When you start to feel confused, that's when you really need to pray to the Lord. That's why I always come and say that I'm not coming and pushing in my spiritual beliefs on nobody, but when you don't have a relationship with the Lord, there's nothing that's going to be cleared up for you. There's nothing that's going to be revealed to you when you don't have a faith and belief in the Lord. Okay, that's why you got people out here going crazy and things along that nature. So I'm not going to be responsible for that. Okay, so if I got to come on here and talk for about 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, I will do that. As long as you say that you got to understand it. For Simply Divine, she broke everything down and she explained it in detail. So there's no way that I could say that I was confused about her video, her content, none of that type of stuff. I know that the Lord led her through this particular video. I'm not finna be responsible for nobody. Okay, my belief is in Christ. I don't have a belief in things. I don't have a belief in crystals, horoscopes, none of that type of stuff. Anything outside of the Lord, I have no belief in. Okay, I'm gonna state that through and through on my channel. But a person with a mental illness may feel like everyone is attacking them. And I said this before, the reason why I chose to come make spirituality a huge part of my channel is because I lost my family to gun violence by the hands of my brother. Okay, he had a mental illness. So trust and believe, when I come and put out this content, I'm coming because I'm speaking off personal experiences. I'm not coming to hear myself talk. I'm not coming to try to gain no audience, no validation from nobody. My life is behind a lot of my content, and so that's why I choose to come and share it with y'all, so that y'all can be aware. Spirituality is very important to me. My relationship with the Lord is very important to me. I lost my family in a horrendous way. But when I come and make these videos, it's a huge purpose and a meaning behind why I make it. Because I don't want nobody out here going down the same route as my brother did. I don't want nobody out here losing their man, being on this spiritual walk. Are you rooted and connected with the Lord? Or are you rooted and connected with something else? Okay, that's the real question. So I got to be real precise and in depth before I get to talking about dream interpretations, because you really do got some people out here that can lose their man behind a certain dream that they may have. I want y'all to be healthy. Mental health is important on this channel. Okay, that's why I always suggest that you get some sort of therapy to help you through whatever sort of stress you may be going through in your life, so that you don't be feeling like everybody is out to get you. Now, everybody is not out to get you. Please stop thinking like that. If you are walking around living in a state of fear and paranoia, that's not healthy. Okay, your mental health is at stake. You really need to go seek some professional help either, or you need to build your relationship with the Lord. So with that being said, we are going to proceed further with this video. A lot of y'all on my channel, I just kind of get this feeling that y'all have been through a lot of witchcraft throughout your life. Okay, so if you are still standing, you are a warrior. Okay, witchcraft couldn't take you down. Okay, you still got your mental sanity. You got some people out here that have came upon situations so where they had witchcraft placed on them. It either changed them for the better or for the worse. Okay, you want to wake up on the better side of witchcraft. You don't want to lose your man. You don't want to give your power over to the witchcraft spell. One of the main ones is the dreams. I had one particular dream a couple of weeks ago about that I was being attacked in my sleep. I said a while back, I think this was when I made this video 2 years ago about how to spot witchcraft. I talked about being attacked by a dog in a dream. Okay, being attacked by dogs in a dream is not a good sign. Sometimes it don't necessarily have to be a witchcraft spell. It could just be something that you may be partaking in your life that's causing these attacks to come upon you. So we just don't put that in there as well, because we don't want to assume that everything is witchcraft. Okay, because it's not. Okay, a lot of times it's just that it may be something that you watched before you went to sleep, which caused you to have an unsettling dream. When you are not walking for the Lord, you are opening yourself up to these attacks. Now let me say this too, because this could be another possible reason why you having these spiritual attacks. You have chose to give up a certain kind of lifestyle, and because you are not partaking in these things no more, these spiritual forces are coming to torment you through your dreams, to try to get you to come into, because like I said before, what you choose to partake in your life, when it is not holy, you are coming into agreement in a covenant with that. Okay, so whether that may be drugs, alcohol, sex, stuff like that, when you choose to give up that certain kind of lifestyle, it's just kind of like the same thing as, I never really done no hardcore kind of drugs. I used to drink, but it's just kind of like, you know how drug addicts, they relapse? They go through this whole thing of they may get sick when they don't have a certain drug. So this is the thing, when you choose to give up certain things from your life, it's going to be something going on in spiritual that's going to torment you. It's just going to be kind of like, I'm just going to use the analogy. Now, say for instance, somebody joined a gang. You know, before you join a gang, you got to get initiated. You got to get jumped in. Okay? So think about it from a spiritual standpoint when we talking about evil demonic spirits. When you choose to give up a certain lifestyle, you got to get jumped out. Basically, you got to pay a price behind not wanting to. It's just kind of like, you know how you got that one friend that They always been a troublemaker. They always, every time you with them, you find yourself caught up in some trouble. But now that you have decided that you don't want to hang with them no more, they gonna make you pay for that. They gonna put you through all types of hell. And so that's what it comes to when it comes to being attacked in the spirit, when you choose to give up a certain lifestyle. And this is another thing I wanted to say, because a lot of people don't like to admit this, but when you were partaking in these certain things, you had no control over yourself a lot of times. Okay, and so when you start to take back the power and control over your life, okay, your spirit is a part of you. These spirits are gonna have a field day. They're gonna have a war with you about that. This is why you are having these attacks, because sadly to say, when you was partaking in these things, you were connected to an evil entity. We don't want to believe that about ourselves. We want to believe that we are perfect, but we are not. When you partake in any sort of drugs or any sort of unholy kind of lifestyle, you are connected with a spiritual demon a lot of times, okay? And so this is why you may be having these tormenting dreams as well, because you chose to give up a certain kind of lifestyle. And this demon is fighting with you, okay? They are fighting for your spirit. They're warring with you internally. They still want to have a part of you. So the fact that you don't want any parts of this certain kind of lifestyle, this is why these demons are attacking you and tormenting you, okay? So a lot of times it's not because you are doing something this unholy, it's because you chose to give up a certain kind of lifestyle choice. This one particular dream that I had this dream around the time the Lord had me confront my childhood trauma, okay? I was going through a lot during that time, y'all, a lot. It was taking a toll on me spiritually, and I knew that it was a lot of recovering that I needed to do behind that situation. And for the ones that have been through any sort of childhood trauma, SA to be specifically, this is something that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but if you have been attacked in your sleep, things happening to you in your dreams, it's a very strong spiritual meaning behind why that's happening. Okay, something took place with you as a child that was horrific. What took place with you was a spiritual exchange. It was a negative one, okay? Child SA is a form of witchcraft as well, and I don't know if that should be a separate video or not, but we can get into that in another video. Things like this are taking place with you, especially as a child. You don't understand what's happening, but you know that it's wrong. So when you take on that type of attack in the physical, because basically you are being attacked in the physical and the spiritual, okay? And so unfortunately, you take on some demonic energy through that act. And so if you never confronted your childhood trauma, you might find yourself going throughout life. This is where you see certain people out here, they have been through SA. They kind of lead a life of destruction. Oh, I ain't trying to step on nobody's toes with this or nothing like that, but people that usually go through any sort of child abuse, they tend to lead destructive lifestyles. They use different coping mechanisms to help them get over that pain. So whether they may be drugs, alcohol, sex addictions, those things open you up to be attacked. If you find yourself having unsettling dreams of you being touched in your sleep, dreams of people having sex with you in your sleep, I really do feel like dreams of people having sex with you in your sleep, it can be a situation to where you have chose to, because I've had this happen to me a few times too, to where I chose to be celibate. And when you turn your life over to Christ, you are committing your mind, body, soul, and spirit to the Lord. You are no longer indulging in sexual activity. And so these spirits and these demons no longer have access to you. So what's the next route they're going to take to get a hold of you? Through your dream, okay? So for the ones that is on the celibacy journey, you might have had yourself having unsettling dreams about people having sex with you in your dream. Another reason too why you may be having these dreams is because these spirits want you to act in the physical on what's taking place in the spiritual, because a lot of these times these dreams are put out to tempt you to engage in sexual immorality. Fighting things in the spirit is going to require you to have a certain amount of discipline, okay, over your flesh, that is, because when things are happening in the spirit, it does something to your mental state, it does something to your emotions, it affects you in the physical as well. So depending on what sort of discipline you may have being on this walk with Christ and being on the abstinence celibacy journey, is going to determine how well you are going to be able to fight against these spiritual attacks. Lust is a spiritual attack, and I've said that plenty of times on my channel. So just because things are taking place in these dreams and it's unsettling, it may be unsettling for some, but it may be pleasurable for some people. It's set is a bait and a trap to get you to partake in the spirit of lust. Okay, so my thing with and this is something secret I want to come share with y'all, that y'all may feel like this is overshare, but this is something that I learned about combating the spirit of lust, being on this abstinence celibacy journey. Whenever something lustful presents itself, I think about my child SA. I think about how painful that was for me. I think about how much I was being tormented, much of a huge impact it had over my life, and how much control it had over my life. And that's what makes me not want to partake in the spirit of lust, is when I think about what happened to me when I was a child. I don't want to go back to that same place. And so for the ones that's battling with the spirit of lust, you may need to really have a sit down with the Lord. He may reveal to you that you may need to confront your childhood trauma, and a part of that may be is that you might have been SA as a child. And this may be kind of upsetting for some people to hear, but I'm not saying this to offend the ones that has been through something like this, but you got to think about where this was rooted from. So whenever you find yourself about to partake in a lustful act, you got to think all the way back to where that was rooted from. It didn't come from a holy place. And so when you are walking with Christ, you are going to have a different mindset and perspective on things, even when it comes to sex. Okay? You are not going to want to partake in something like this because it's perverse. It was rooted from a deep, dark place. A lot of y'all have came into covenants with lustful perversion kind of spirits because of what happened through your childhood. So just think about that. I'm not saying this to upset none of y'all. Trust, I told y'all I done been through it before. Okay? So please understand that when you are partaking in the spirit of lust, you are coming into a covenant with something that's dark, that it's probably going to take you a long time to break away from. And it depends on how spiritually and mentally strong you are. You have to have discipline over your flesh being on this walk with Christ. You can't be giving in to the spirit of lust because it's going to open you up to spiritual demons. And this is something that a lot of people just don't want to talk about. But y'all know that we discuss all the deep things on this channel. Some of y'all being on the spiritual journey, y'all probably had a lot of soul searching to do. And the Lord has revealed so many different things to you, to the point to where when it comes to walking this walk for Him, it's going to become something that's going to be easy for you. And He's going to help you through this journey. I like to rebuke those dreams. Sometimes you have found yourself getting up, praying, or just talking to the Lord, or you just may feel violated. Okay? I told you that this video is going to be deep. You may feel violated because it's like if you are not partaking in sex, you don't want nothing spiritually taking over you, because that's basically what's happening. Okay, a lot of people don't want to believe it. They're gonna say that I'm crazy, but okay, that's okay. That's okay for you to believe that, but you don't want something taking control over you while you are asleep. That is when you're most vulnerable. Demons like to get you in a vulnerable state to where you are just open to them. If you might have had an unsettling dream to where it was something sexual going on in this dream, then you might have woke up feeling violated. But when things are taking place in the spirit when you are asleep, trust and believe it's a strong meaning behind that. There's nothing for you to be afraid of, because a lot of times the meaning behind why these attacks take place in these dreams is because for you to live in a state of fear. This might be a certain instance to where if you are having multiple attacks through your dreams to the point to where you really cannot rest well, I recommend that you pray heavy. Okay, y'all gonna get tired of me saying this, but I'm gonna keep saying it. You have to consistently pray and talk to the Lord and read your Bible to rid yourself of these dreams. Okay, rid yourself of these attacks. You don't want to leave yourself open and vulnerable to be attacked like that, especially while you are sleeping. Okay, that's why you got some people to where they suffer from insomnia. They have trouble sleeping. They are afraid to go to sleep. I'm just going to be real honest. And they grown adult age. They have problems going to sleep because they are not able to rest well because of this. And so when you pray to the Lord, for the people that don't have a belief in the Lord, I really don't know what else to tell you, because that is my belief. That is what helps me a lot when I'm being spiritually attacked in my dreams. But when you pray to the Lord, I'm telling you, it works, okay? When you consistently pray to the Lord and talk to the Lord before you go to sleep too now, because a lot of times I have made this mistake of not praying before I went to sleep, because maybe you was just too tired, a lot of things going on throughout the day, you might just forget, and you were spiritually attacked in your sleep. You have to pray before you go to sleep. If it's real extreme, a lot of times to where I've had unsettling dreams, I sleep with the Bible on my bed. I sleep with it open a lot of times. And that helps, okay? I got children too that they have had unsettling dreams. They have told me about some dreams that they had that I thought was really disturbing, that I kind of wanted to come share with y'all as well too. But that may be in a part two. We're gonna make this a part two, because when it comes to discussing dreams and meanings, interpretations of it, yeah, it's gonna be a long one. But being attacked in your sleep, you gotta pray against that. You gotta rebuke that. Just like I said in the last video, do not take spiritual attacks laying down if you can help it. If you are being spiritually attacked in your dream, wake up. Do not sit there and let these spiritual beings attack you while you are sleeping. Get up, rebuke this dream, pray to the Lord, talk to the Lord, and you are going to find yourself being able to rest well afterwards, okay? A lot of people underestimate God, and that's really sad. They give more power to Satan than anything, and that's another reason why I always come to make it a point to talk about the Lord whenever I come and talk about deep and dark topics, because the Lord gets all the power. He gets all the credit. Okay, he is the person that has gotten me through a lot of these attacks that I have went through throughout my life. Okay, and this is why I come and share it with y'all, because it's important for you to give the Lord the credit. It's important for you to acknowledge the Lord. When he gets you through a spiritual attack, I'm telling you, that's why I got so much of a stronger belief in him. Because it's like when you go through certain things, spiritual things, and you know it couldn't have been nobody else that got you through that but him. Because you prayed to him, you talked to him, you're going to do everything you can to be connected to him. You are going to honor the Lord with your life, especially when he gets you through spiritual attacks. Now, come on now, that's something that is unseen. That's not anything that you could fight against yourself, okay? You are a physical being. And so when certain things are taking place with you in the spiritual, things that don't make sense, things that you cannot see, you know that it ain't nobody but the Lord. Okay, a lot of people, they discredit the Lord. They don't give him his flowers for him coming in and interceding in a life. Okay, especially during situations like this. And this is another reason why people get caught up in witchcraft, or they end up losing their minds, because when you are constantly spiritually attacked in your dreams, or you're going through witchcraft spells and things along that nature, I'm sorry to say this, but I have to say it, but a lot of times the reason why people kind of lose their man on the receiving end of a witchcraft spell, or, you know, spiritual attacks in their sleep, they don't have that strong enough belief in God, okay? Now, let me just say this. I'm not saying that you don't have a relationship with the Lord, but if they was to have a strong enough faith and belief, then they would be sane. And this is where people tend to take matters into their own hands when they're going through some sort of spell. This is where people go and consult mediums, witch doctors, and things along that nature. They want to stop these attacks and these dreams, and they feel like another person is going to be able to stop this. You open yourself up to some dark stuff. When you do not go to the Lord with your spiritual matters, you are going down the wrong road when you do that. It's all about your faith and your belief. A lot of people, sadly to say, do not have a strong enough faith and belief in the Lord to have him intercede and fight their spiritual battles for them. And so that's what opens them up some more demons and more spiritual attacks. Y'all seen them instances happen before. To see it in movies, to where people, they kind of losing their man, they off their rocker, they going crazy. They keep going to these different mediums. The Lord speaks against mediums, witches, and warlocks, all that type of stuff in the Bible. And this is how you can tell. And this ain't me put nobody on the spot and nothing like that, but this is certain things that we need to talk about. But this is how you can tell that people don't have a strong enough faith and belief in the Lord, because if that was the case, you would know that the Lord speaks against witchcraft, sorcery, mediums, consulting different people. He speaks about that in the Bible, and a lot of people don't know this because they don't read the Bible. If y'all read the Bible, then y'all know the Lord has said all throughout the Bible about the consequences behind practicing sorcery, witchcraft, consulting other people. The Lord said, do not have any other gods before me. So when you go consult someone else about spiritual matters, then you are basically saying that the Lord is not enough. Okay? Some people may get helpless and hopeless, and they are not patient. They are not able to. And this is another thing about having a strong faith in the Lord. You have to learn how to have patience. Sometimes the Lord might not intercede right away and fight this battle for you, and that is where your faith lies. Okay, your faith lies in your patience as well. And so this is where you constantly have to keep praying, keep reading your word, keep talking to the Lord. These attacks are going to slowly cease from up off of you when you have a strong and faith of belief in the Lord. And I don't care what nobody say, but I'm talking about what works for me and what has worked for me. This is why I'm perfectly sane and I can come talk to y'all the way I'm talking to y'all. It's because I have a faith in that man upstairs. He has got me through so many spiritual attacks. Plenty of them. Okay, my children have been spiritually attacked through their dreams. Man, I'm talking about some disturbing dreams that my children have shared with me too. Y'all have to cover y'all children as well, because they are open to spiritual attacks as well. They're more vulnerable because they're still learning. They're still developing mentally. They don't know about the spiritual world like that. And so that's why they're more open to be spiritually attacked through their dreams as well. If your child keep on having nightmares, you need to pray on that thing. Tell your child to let you know what the dream is about. You have to record your children's dreams as well. Write down everything from start to finish, what happened. You got to pray against that thing. Okay? You got a lot of kids out here that are being spiritually attacked through their dreams and they don't know why it's happening. You got to cover your children. You got to pray over your children, because a lot of times the type of lifestyle you lead is opening the doors for your children to be attacked as well. Let's say, for instance, you on this walk with Christ. You pray heavy, you read your Bible, you talk to the Lord, but your children are being spiritually attacked. When you are on a spiritual journey and you are on this walk with Christ, your children need to be on board with this walk as well, because you feel like you protected, you saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Spirit, but you are not covering your children. Okay? You are not praying over them. You are not praying for them, because they can have all different types of evil, wicked influence in their life, their friends. Okay? Demons ain't just gonna come after you. They're gonna try to come after your children as well. Don't be selfish. Don't keep all that spiritual protection to yourself. You want to protect your children, if anything, because they are not gonna understand what's going on with them. Okay, only you are going to be able to understand. Only you are going to be able to pray over them, protect them, and have the Lord intercede and work through their life or whatever they may be going on. Because our children are not in our eyesight 24/7. We don't know what's going on with them. And so we want to pray and hope that they are being protected when they are not in our eyesight. When they sleeping, they having unsettling dreams. I know as a parent, I know how heartbreaking it can be when your child keep waking up in the middle of the night. They keep telling you that they having nightmares. I had one particular night, child, my daughter woke up like 3 or 4 different times throughout the night, and I really prayed over my baby. I felt really sad for her because she kept waking up. It was like to the point to where she was just afraid to go back to sleep, you know. And I had her come in and lay with me when your child is having an unsettling dream. Of course, you want them to come in a bed with you. You want to protect your little cub. You know, you mama bear, papa bear. But she came in my room one night, child, and I was really praying for my baby hard and heavy that night. She told me that she was hearing like a loud voice in her ear. It was like really loud, you know. She said that it was a voice that was echoing. She said it was a loud voice that kept waking her up. Every time she would go to sleep, she said she would hear the voice in her ear that kept waking her up. You know what I'm saying? And so I knew that it was something that was taking place in the spirit with my child.
And I knew it had to be a real disturbing dream, because when she was in the bed with me, we was both dozing off, but I was holding her in my arms, and every time she would jolt up out of her sleep or move, it'd wake me up, because I'm a light sleeper. So I kid you not, y'all, like 3 or 4 different times she just kept jolting up out of her sleep. She said, "I can't go to sleep, mommy."
Because sometimes this is the thing, and I'm talking about from my real spiritual warriors out here, my real believers in Christ. And y'all know I'm not telling a lie, okay? A lot of y'all ain't gonna admit it. But you have noticed that while being on your walk with Christ, you might have noticed that your children was being attacked the most behind being on this walk with Christ, because your walk with Christ is a threat to the enemy. Okay, so because they know they can't get to you because you are covered and protected, they're gonna go for the next person that they feel is the easy target, which is your children. Okay, this is why it's important for you to cover them. But she kept having these dreams back to back to back, y'all. And I'm like, wow. I prayed a couple of times. I talked to her. I consoled her. And it was one particular show. And it's so crazy how the Lord, I feel like the Lord gives us so many spiritual warnings and signs. So the Lord is omnipresent. But when he comes in a room, when he is present, you're going to feel it. You are going to feel that sense of protection. But this one particular night, my daughter was having these dreams. It was a TV show that I was watching. And it's so weird because during this time in my life, I was being attacked a few times as well. It was a show that I used to watch as a child. It was called Touched by an Angel. That was one of my favorite shows. If you got a Roku TV, it's a certain channel where they play faith-based kind of TV shows all throughout the day. And so I had got hip to Touched by an Angel. I'm like, dang, they got Touched by an Angel on here. I ain't seen this show in ages. And so I started watching it. But this one particular night where my daughter was being attacked in her dream, something said, go to Touched by an Angel. When I tell you, y'all, and see, this is the thing, my daughter, I was watching this show so much to the point where my daughter would come in and start watching it with me. She had got to a point to where she started liking the show too. So this one particular night when she was having this dream, something said, go turn to Touched by an Angel. I kid you not, child. I kid you not. We sat up and watched Touched by an Angel together. And shortly after, this was after she had been dreamed back to back. The minute I turned to Touched by an Angel, y'all, and I knew it wasn't nothing but God. The Lord said, I need to be present in this room right now. I turned to that show and my daughter slept through the entire night like a baby. She did not wake up no more after that. And it was one particular night too, I wanted to come and talk about where she said that she couldn't go to sleep. This is another thing too, y'all. The reason why your child may be having a lot of unsettling dreams too, you may need to monitor their social media as well. It might be certain things that they are watching that may not be in agreement with their spirit. Children are innocent, they are pure, and so they are not aware of certain things out here as well as we are. We need to be 10 steps ahead of the enemy because he is always after our children. But she had this bad dream one night. She came in my room and I prayed with her. She went to sleep and she was able to rest well. And when she woke up the next morning and she was like, Mommy, I was like, what? And she like, the prayer worked. I was thanking the Lord. I was like, thank you, Lord, for covering my child. Spiritual attacks through dreams, they mean something. Yeah, that's just how I'm going to end it, y'all. I'm going to make a part 2 because it was some other unsettling dreams that I had a while back that I felt had a strong meaning behind it that I wanted to come and share with y'all. But yeah, all in all, keep yourself covered and protected. Keep your family covered and protected, okay? The Lord is the Almighty. The Lord is the only one that's going to be able to help you with your spiritual matters. Please do not be afraid to talk to him, pray to him, or anything, okay? And you are going to see these spiritual attacks cease from up off of you. You are going to be able to rest well. Trust me, I'm telling you. It works. Prayer works. Prayer changes things. And that's just how I'm going to end this video. So hopefully I got something from it. Hopefully it helped you in some way. Continue to protect your soul and spirit. And I will talk to y'all in the next video.